to ETBU Sports Extra. ETBU Extra here live from CC's Pizza in Marshall, Texas. Hello, I'm Mike Mead, the voice of the Tigers. Glad that you have clicked in this afternoon on the ETBU Sports Net. We're joined now by Jared Hood, the head baseball coach of ETBU. And earlier this week on local radio station KMHT, I heard Jamie Horton on his Sports Beat show talk about when the Texas Rangers report for spring training. And it's less than a month away, but I said, you know what? If I want to go watch people practice baseball and get into baseball mood, all I got to do is go down to Woods Field and watch the ETBU Tiger baseball team working out because they're preparing for their season opener next Thursday as they host Chapman. And Coach Hood, how have the workouts been going for your team?
Well, they've been good so far. You know, that the guys are trying to get back into the swing of things. You know, we've got some sore bodies out there right now, but as far as the intensity level goes and a work ethic goes, I mean, they're right where they need to be right now.
How does a baseball player get over a sore arm? I know they're supposed to be throwing and not bring those sore arms, but it happens no matter who. If you've been throwing for 4 or 5 weeks before the season, what are some tips you give a young baseball player if you got a sore arm? What do they need to do?
Well, you know, you're right. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of throwing program that you give the guys. I mean, no matter what you give them, they're always, you know, they never all seem to do it the way that that you hope that they do it. So when they get in, you know, the biggest thing that I've found is the guys that they throw through soreness. You know, and over time, once they get, you know, they train the right muscles and the right ligaments to work a certain way, and you know, that soreness will eventually work out itself. But you know, really, that's the only way I found to overcome that.
When you hear coaches talk about the season and reporting to camp to start working out, I always hear coaches say, we're going to start with the fundamentals first. Do you do that actually?
We try to, but we don't want to overconsume that. We don't want to be so mechanical and fundamental that we miss the competitiveness of the sport. You know, really with our guys, we set up a certain time that we're going to hit those fundamentals, the things that we need to do, our defensive and offensive philosophies. But then, I mean, we're going to learn how to compete. And baseball is one of those sports that, you know, you can take a team that might slack a little bit on the fundamental side of the thing, but really be competitive and really get after the other team, and most of the time come out on top.
How hard do you work on situations where, like, you know, when the pitcher is supposed to cover first base and the ball's hit to the first baseman, or did y'all work on that in practice?
All the time. You know, and you know, especially in Texas, where high school baseball coaches sometimes are consumed with football and everything. A lot of times, by the time the kids get to us here in college, you know, we've pretty much got to teach the game all over again. So, you know, ideally, in a perfect world, I mean, we will hit every situation that will come up in those games. We'll go over those in practice. So, those are definitely things that we drill a lot.
Your opener is next Thursday, host Chapman. They come in for a 3-game series at Woods Field. Do you have any inter-squads planned, or you already had some inter-squads? Already any scrimmages with anybody that can come in and play before you get there?
We've been inter-squad since day one, since we've been able to practice. And like I said, you know, us being able to come in and compete with each other, you know, internally, guys are still trying to win positions, you know, and when we go through those inter squads, we'll try to put something on the line to, you know, for the winning team, and you know, the guys are getting after it pretty well. But as far as bringing somebody else in and everything, we can't do that until Chapman comes in.
Earlier, we had Coach Bremmett from Tiger Tennis on the segment before you came on. I asked him, you know, as he's out recruiting, what type of players he look for. What, you know, kind of ask that same question to you as a baseball coach. Of course, high school baseball's kicking up just about the same time you are. As you have an opportunity to see players play and you start recruiting for next year, what kind of player are you looking for?
With us, it's, you know, it's all about we take our roster and we kind of look and see what we're going to have and what we're going to have coming back next year. You know, and right now we're just having to be in a situation to where we've got a lot of young position players. You know, we're graduating a couple of seniors in certain spots, and so we need to fill those holes. You know, but, you know, and right now we're trying to revamp our pitching staff for next year. You know, so we're looking for guys that can come in and compete as freshmen. You know, if we're bringing in guys that, you know, we're saying, oh, well, maybe by their junior or senior year they might be able to contribute, we're not doing our job as coaches. So we've got to find these young guys that can come in and compete when they step in on campus.
How good are the players in East Texas that surround ETBU, baseball players?
They're very good. They're very good, and a lot of times East Texas is untapped because it's, you know, it's harder to find good talent in East Texas because you've got to go out to these schools and you've got to actually hunt for kids. You know, it's easier to go into the Metroplex in Dallas and Houston and Austin areas and watch a ball game where you might see, you know, 5 to 6, maybe 7 college level players, where you go to a game in East Texas, you might not see one. So the players are here, but you've got to go out and you've got to hunt for them and beat the bushes a lot, and you know, that's what we try to do.
Of course, I asked that question because Carlisle High School had that pitcher that just graduated who, wow, I don't think he lost a game on the mound his whole time playing for the Carlisle Indians there in Price, Texas. And there is just a lot of great talent in East Texas playing baseball. Coach, did you make the schedule this year? Because I noticed your first 2 weeks are at home, or the first 3 weeks at home. Yeah. Did Driggers leave that with you as he left to go somewhere else, the previous head coach, or did you make that schedule?
Well, he had a huge influence in the schedule for this year, you know, so that was pretty much already set. But I sure don't mind a lot of home games, so it's going to be nice, and it's going to be exciting. We're ready to hook it up.
Can't wait for the first pitch at Woods Field next Thursday as they host Chapman for a 3-game series. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, kind of different because normally you do it Friday and Saturday. Why the Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Well, you know, in talking with Chapman and kind of, you know, to make it worth their while, because they're coming in from California and they wanted to spread the series within a 3-day set. And which is fine. So we decided to do that, and then we kind of looked at it, and due to their flight scheduling and everything, we're going to have to go Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, so it'll be an early day for Saturday, but in order for them to get back on, you know, in the air and back to California safely, it'll be something we've got to do. But we're looking forward to it. You know, invite everybody else to come and help us out.
Any final things you want to say about Tiger baseball?
Now, come check us out, and you'll see all you need to know.
That's right. Come out to Woods Field. No admission whatever to watch Tiger baseball. Come out and enjoy the baseball team as well as softball team coming up as spring sports are getting underway at ETBU. Coach Hood, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for being a guest today on ETBU Extra. For those from Marshall, Texas, you recognize that name because he's a hometown boy coaching at the hometown University of East Texas Baptist University. Well, I was going to wrap things up today on the ETBU Extra Show. Do want to pass along some information for you before we go. I want to say congratulations to the members of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. They held the Make a Change night at basketball last home game, and they received donations from Mission Marshall and the Clothes Closet here in town, and very well done as they raised over $230 to go to Mission Marshall, along with 2 boxes full of canned goods and 9 bags of clothing that will help out the need here in East Texas. So good job, students, for being a part of that. And also want to recommend, not recommend, but congratulations to 34 athletes who played on our fall teams, making the ASC All-Academic team. And you can go see that complete list if you go to goetbtigers.com. As I said, that wraps up today's ETBU Extra. Thanks to Josh McSwain and Adam Ledyard for the help today for the show, and for the coaches that stopped by today, Coach Howard, Coach Hood, and Coach Bramlett. We'll see you next Wednesday at noon right here on the ETBU Sports Net for another edition of ETBU Extra. So long. Have a great day, East Texas.